This is Armed American Radio's Daily Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense, because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by X Insurance. X Insurance. From the Sig Sauer Studios. On the Patriot Mobile Platinum microphone. Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense begins right now in the shadows of the big monster cash yesterday. Greg in Dallas, Texas, welcome into the 6 Hour Studios with me, brother.
Yeah, here we are, Monday. Monday.
We had to bid farewell to Neil last night.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I spoke to him this morning, and it was a mistake because he butt dialed me. But he said,
Yeah,
I must be missing you guys already.
Yeah.
You know? It was a bittersweet show. Neil's participated in the program for many years, and he still will. He'll just be behind the scenes. He'll be working with me behind the scenes. So,
bye, Felicia.
Oh, bye, Felicia. Yeah, well, you know, if you ain't here, we're talking about you, right? We had a little mini roast of him last night. It was kind of fun. But, we will miss Neil on the, no doubt, on the roundtable each and every week. There's no question about that. Fun stuff. And we have, of course, Ryan Petty. Yeah, thank you very much. I was trying not to say Richard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
that happens sometimes. But we have Ryan Petty filling those big shoes, and he will do a remarkable job because he's got big footprint himself.
When he's not eating ice cream.
When he's not eating ice cream. He won't be able to eat ice cream now because he's going to be using studio equipment that will, it'll...
No food or drink.
No food or drink in studio because you'll be able to hear it, right? Almost taste what he's eating. But me thinks he'll figure out how to mute that thing okay. So you never know. But Greg, if you would be kind enough to tell people where to tune in on all the platforms, and then we'll get started with Andy Hoosier, the voice of reason. We have a lot to cover today. I don't think we'll get to all of it, but we'll give it a whirl.
Sure, if you want to watch the show, just do a search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters over on YouTube and Rumble. On X, it's at AAR Mark. If you want to join our live chats, just head on over to your app store, grab the Telegram messaging app, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
All right, and that'll do it. And don't forget, Facebook.com, Armed American Radio. Just look up Armed American Radio. Those of you who like to watch on X, I just noticed a few moments ago that the stream didn't pop up, but it's real simple. If you're on my Twitter page, all you got to do is hit that little picture of me up there that says live, boom. Or when you see the tweet that popped up, the post, I guess, the X post, formerly known as a tweet. Well, you just click on that little link that's there. Either one will get you in. Andy Hoosier, the voice of reason, Wichita, Kansas, KQAM, Wichita's big talker, Wichita's favorite son. How you doing, brother?
It's Mark Walters. What's up, brother? How you doing?
It's Mark Walters. First thing Greg said to me was, I said, you got Andy? He's all locked and loaded, ready to go. He goes, yeah, he's just too happy for a Monday. I said, well, that's what Andy does, man. Andy loves his Mondays, man. Right?
Hey, well, you got to set the tone right. I mean, even if you don't feel it, it's the whole theater of the mind. It's whole, the psychological set the tone for the week. So it's what we do, man. Whether it's a struggling one or a good one, you got to make it a good one because that sets the tone for the whole week. We're going to carpe diem all over this place.
Nah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, Greg, I agree with him because Mondays were always, I kind of like Mondays. I've said it before, but Mondays are kind of like a Friday to me, Andy. Late night
Makes
show.
no
Now,
sense.
last night was a very late night. I was on Cam and Company today, and Cam asked me, how you doing today? I said, I'd be lying to you if I told you I wasn't wiped out. Because I didn't get out of the studio till about 3 a.m. this morning. And in large part, that was a technological issue. We were waiting for stuff to upload and all that fun stuff. There's a lot of post-show edit work, I should say, that needs to be done after the program to get the podcast up. It doesn't just happen, right? And for some reason last night, the show notes and everything just seemed to be taking a really, really long time. And I didn't get out until about 3 o'clock this morning. And there we were up on Cam and Company. So if you want to watch us on Cam and Company today, we talked a little bit about the Snopes case, ladies and gentlemen. And Andy, you know that as the assault weapons ban case out of the Fourth Circuit in Maryland. And I got to tell you, we got the word from Supreme Court today. No more word. Well, I got no word from Supreme Court yet again on this case. And what I thought was interesting, we've kind of waffled back and forth. The longer it goes on, when we were at like 6 conferences, Greg, you'll recall, I felt really good about it because ample time to deny cert. They've had ample time. Then we started getting a little nervous when it went to 7 and 8 conferences, right? Well, now that it's continuing to be pushed off, I go right back up to my 90%. I think the longer this goes on, I think the better I'm going to feel about it at this point. So we're kind of like over a crest. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah,
that
maybe.
makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I mean, the Supreme Court's in their session. I mean, they go until what? They go until May-ish, June, when they make all their final decisions. So, I mean, the longer they prolong some of this, I don't see that being a bad issue.
Yeah, not a concern, but in speaking with Mr. Gottlieb about it, and there has been some precedent here in past cases where a case is dragged out like this in conference for long enough that could usually signal that there's a dissent. I'm not buying that. There's been plenty of time for a dissent. I think, honestly, and I was talking with Cam about this, with Cam Edwards today on Cam and Company, I think at this point, they just haven't gotten to it yet. Maybe this is such an open and shut deal. They've already GVR'd it, granted it, vacated it, and remanded it back, that they know they're going to take it. They've got other cases they're looking at. They'll just get to this one when they get to it. I'm kind of leaning in that direction right now. Now, I'm not a fly on the wall, all right? But I'm going to keep my hopes up. I'm keeping that optimism alive. I think they're going to take this case, guys. I think they would have denied it by now. That's just my gut feeling. Andy, you want to throw something in there before we move on? Because honestly, there's nothing else to talk about until we know they take it or deny it, one of the two.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, look, I mean, they are going into the heat of the session, so they very well could take it. Who knows? I don't really know what their thought process is right now, but they do like to wait to the last minute sometimes, and they like to do the shock and awe. The Supreme Court has become more and more influential in certain policy decisions where we all wait on pins and needles to see what they're going to do for these 9 black-robed individuals to make policy in this country, which is kind of ridiculous. But we've gotten to that point, and now it's almost become a show by the end of spring, early summertime for them to come out and make all of their decisions all at the same time and make all of their big announcements. And we all wait for this. So, who knows what they're doing right now?
Well, we'll never know. They're either going to take it or deny it, and they're never going to tell us why. So we'll be speculating forever. But hopefully they take it. If they take it, we win the case. I feel very confident in that. We just need them to take the damn case. Get off your duffs. Come on. Don't they know we're out here waiting on pins and needles? Don't they care about us, Andy?
Gosh, come on, man.
Gosh, they don't care about us, do they? Yeah, just take the thing and get it over with. Come on, we want this yesterday. All right, so I'm telling you, man, it's frustrating. But, it's a talk radio show, so we talk about this stuff. And particularly this one, it's a big one because this will squash a lot of anti-gun states' efforts to ban your firearms, ladies and gentlemen. This case will put it all to bed.
Yeah, and if it does, imagine the snowball that's going to happen after that. Yeah.
Oh, well, imagine what the left is going to do. Can you imagine a victory? They went nuts. I remember when they went nuts during the Heller decision. I remember when they went nuts on the McDonald decision. That must have been a Freudian slip. I didn't eat that stuff, but the McDonald decision, wiping out gun bans in Chicago, and of course Heller wiping out gun bans in D.C., and then years later, down the road, the Bruen decision, knocking New York back on their heels and the rest of those states that want to infringe on your right to carry. But yeah, I feel good about this. I really do. I still do. And I'm at this point now where I think I'm over that hump, that the longer it goes on, I feel better. Now, I hope I don't get smacked.
Isn't it crazy we go through so many waves? Isn't it crazy we go through so many waves of emotion just for a Supreme Court to decide what they're going to do? I mean, it's almost like a denial thing. We have to go through the acceptance and the denial and what's going to happen here.
But, that's a great word, emotion. I use that word with Cam today. It is emotional. It's emotional because it's a right. It's a freedom. We're passionate about it. This is Armed American Radio.
Of course.
16 years. Okay, we are passionate about it. We are emotional about it. There are emotions involved. It's not one of those things that you just poo-poo off, right? It's not one of those deals where, my God, they had the case. They GVR'd it. It went back to the Fourth Circuit. The case has been litigated. It is the perfect case for them to take. Why wouldn't they take it? Now, interestingly, you've got the Ninth Circuit case dealing with mag bans. You've got the Rhode Island magazine capacity. You've got Delaware. So there are other cases dealing with magazine bans. Maybe, this came up on Cam and Company today, maybe they're looking to bring these all together. Maybe they're waiting. Because the mag ban, the California Ninth Circuit decision is obviously, so there's a lot going on. But whatever. It's a talk radio show. They keep giving us stuff to talk about. We'll keep taking it all day long. Andy, when we come back from the break, there's an interesting topic I can't wait to talk with you about. And Greg, we'll get your input on here as well. But the second South Carolina inmate, death row inmate, has elected to be shot by firing squad. I want to talk a little bit about this. Okay. Andy, have you talked about that on your show at all?
No, I didn't even hear that. That's hilarious.
It is, but I want to go into this. There's so much going on here. Should inmates even get a choice? Number one. And how many choices should there be? Oh, this is going to be a fascinating conversation. We can probably take this for the full hour, but I do have a lot of other stuff I want to get to. Nonetheless, we'll try to get to all of it today, but I can promise you this right now, we won't. We'll do our level best to do that for you, but I can't tell you it's going to happen. We'll be back with Andy Hoosier, the voice of reason, KQAM, Wichita's Big Talker, right after this on a Monday.
The following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, welcome back. Patriot Mobile, patriotmobile.com/AAR. Get a free month, a free month, a free month. I promise we'll change that rejoin. It is a free month, patriotmobile.com, patriotmobile.com. We'll probably have a Patriot Mobile rep on Thursday this week, too. I'll keep you posted and let you know about all that. Welcome back inside the 6 Hour Studios with me. You can find all of our great partners at armedamericanradio.com, armedamericanradio.com. And, of course, we're in front of the Patriot Mobile mic today. AmmoSquared.com. Did you get on there yet? Get over there, start stacking ammo yet? Tomorrow I'll get notification. Your payment was made. On Wednesday I'll get a notification. You got ammo. You've got ammo. That's a beautiful thing. It's not you've got mail. It's you've got ammo. And I keep stacking it. It just keeps building. Well over 2,000 rounds now. At some point, I'm just going to get a wild hair, and I'm going to go ahead and grab a shipment. And that's the beautiful part. You don't have to have it all shipped. You can tell them what you want shipped. Send me 500 rounds of blank. Mix it up. Off it goes. Shows up at your house, right at your doorstep. AmmoSquared.com. The real way to start stacking ammo. No more hassles and no more new safes at home because they stack it for you. Andy Hoosier, the voice of reason. Welcome back, my brother. So, let's go to South Carolina here. Now, Andy, you're too young to remember this. Greg, you probably are too, frankly. But I remember in 1977 when Gary Gilmore was shot by firing squad, was executed in Utah. And that was huge news because the Supreme Court decision was Gregg v. Georgia. He chose firing squad. He was shot on January 17, 1977. And it was a decision, that decision came out in 1972, which effectively halted capital punishment in the United States, but it was reinstated in 1976 with the Gregg v. Georgia decision. And Gary Gilmore elected to be shot. He's a killer scumbag, and he got everything he deserved. But now, Andy, let's go to South Carolina. This is the second inmate in South Carolina in the past month that has elected to be executed by firing squad. He's 41-year-old Mikhail Mahdi. And he has chosen to have his execution carried out by firing squad. Take a listen. When was the last one? Brad Sigmund was executed by firing squad in South Carolina back on March 7th, just a few mere weeks ago. The AP reported that 67-year-old Sigmund was shot at 6:05 p.m., quote unquote, by 3 volunteer prison employees. Now, here's what I don't know, Andy. Remember, do all 3 of them have a live round? Does one of them have a live round? You know, you hear this. I don't know if it's urban legend. You know, from what I read on this, it appeared all 3 of them had live rounds. I didn't see anything to the contrary. But, you know, there's that old, you know, one of them's got the round that way. The person doing the shooting isn't sure exactly which one actually fired the fatal shot, right? I wouldn't mind at all. I wouldn't mind knowing that I was the guy that put down the barbaric scumbag who, in this case, murdered a guy by the name of James Myers. Andy, is death by firing squad inhumane?
No, it's not. It's just strange that they would request that. I mean, God forbid, if I were in jail, if I were on death row and they asked me what type of death I would like to have, I would want the one where I lay down, they inject something in me, I fall asleep, and I just don't wake up. I don't know why someone would actively request to have a firing squad to them. That's a little strange to me. I don't think, though, it's necessarily inhumane if you do it the right way. I mean, I don't want, to be shot all over my different limbs to be sit there and suffering and then be like, well, we still have to go at it because you're going to die. So therefore you're not going to just be patched up and just continue on. You're like, well, we tried to kill you, but we didn't. Like, yeah, I mean, you got to do it the right way because, and I've changed my position over the years on the death penalty in general as well, where I'm not in as favor to it as much as I used to be.
Oh,
and that could be maybe a deeper conversation. Yeah,
well,
and that's okay.
No, we can have it in this context. I'm an eye for an eye. Okay.
Sure, and I understand.
I have no problem.
That completely makes sense.
I have no problem, no sympathy with these people getting the axe at all. Period. And if that's what they choose in axe, because they're an axe murderer. Right. Let the family of the victim decide. Okay, I have no problem with that whatsoever. Absolutely none. But
sure.
Okay, so where do you draw a line? Can the state say, well, this Brian Koberger out in Idaho, This guy's a real loser. They've got this guy so dead to rights. They've got smoking gun stuff on this guy, and he's still trying to fight it and have evidence squashed. Not going to happen. He'll wind up with the death penalty in Idaho. I can only hope that the penalty is carried out swiftly. Okay, but this guy, there's nothing more personal than getting up close with somebody with a knife. This guy used a K-bar knife,
Right.
and murdered those 3 beautiful young women and that guy in that. It wasn't a sorority house. I guess it was an off-campus home. But that's a personal, and all you got to do is go back to that very disturbing scene in the movie Saving Private Ryan, right? When the German soldier's on top of the American and he's whispering in German. What he is saying in German is, shh, it'll all be over soon. It'll all be over soon. Don't worry, it'll all be over soon. That's what he's saying in German to the guy as he's very slowly plunging the knife into his chest. It's a brutal way to die, and it's very personal. It's upfront and personal. And I've always said knives scare me to death. They do. I don't like knives.
Yes.
And I have a bunch of them for utility purposes. But I'd rather be shot than stabbed to death any day of the week. But Kohberger, as far as I'm concerned, where do you draw the line? Could stabbing an inmate, should they get that choice? He chose to stab
the
these,
other gangs in
brutally
prison,
murder. Then you're going to get the bleeding hearts out there. No. You're going to kill the guy. The end result is death. I'm all eye for an eye. Let the family decide as far as I'm concerned. That's my personal opinion. I have no sympathy for these scumbags at all. Now, let's go a little bit deeper into this Mahdi's case. This is what his attorney had to say. Faced with barbaric and inhumane choices, Mikhail Mahdi, or Michael, M-I-K-A-L, I don't really care if I mispronounce this scumbag's name, has chosen the lesser of 3 evils. We'll call him Michael. Michael chose the firing squad instead of being burned and mutilated in the electric chair or suffering a lingering death on the lethal injection gurney. So he chose to be shot. Now, Andy, as you just pointed out, marksmen can miss the mark sometimes, right?
Yeah.
If there's 3 guns, is there 3 rounds? Or is it that old legend, 1 round? And, if I'm the guy tied to the post, I want to know all 3 of them have round. I don't want to take a chance, like you said.
Right.
Guy misses your heart. Now you're shot, hanging off a pole, right?
Right.
No, I want to know that better than what I want to know. I've got a 3 out of 3 chance here. Okay, I'm going. It's a done deal. Hopefully nobody misses, but the odds are one of the 3 is going to hit me
30.
where they're supposed to hit me. But when we come back from the break, let me read this statement again from this scumbag's lawyer. Michael chose the firing squad instead of being burned and mutilated in the electric chair or suffering a lingering death on the lethal injection gurney. Now, Andy, you pointed out, I'd rather just lay down and have the drugs flow into me, fall asleep, and never wake up, or wake up dead, however that works. We don't know, right? When we come back, I'll tell you what this scumbag did, and it will make the statement from his attorney all that more incredible when you hear what this man did to get the death penalty in the first place. We'll juxtapose that against what the attorney said. It's quite interesting. When we come back, 2 more segments with Andy Hoosier on a Monday to begin your work week for you here on Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. You are on the Armed American Radio Network.
Daniel Defense firearms are guaranteed for life, trusted worldwide, and designed, engineered, and manufactured right here in America. Daniel Defense, freedom, passion, precision.
Yep, Daniel Defense is freedom, passion, and precision. Make sure to check them out. Get on their email list. I don't yet have a name on who won that icebreaker rifle, but when I find out, you'll find out. Hopefully it was one of you. That would be a beautiful thing. Good heavens, because that was one hell of a package. DanielDefense.com, DanielDefense.com. Make sure to check them out. And you can clean your Daniel Defense with Barrel Buddies. BarrelBuddy.com, BarrelBuddy.com, BarrelBuddy.com. And also make sure to check out Bud's Gun Shop online, BudsGunShop.com, BudsGunShop.com. They have everything you need, and you need everything they have, and you at least want it, and they have it. Tons and tons of stuff for you over at BudsGunShop.com. BudsGunShop.com. I'll get it. BudsGunShop.com. There we go. Our exclusive online retailer at Armed American Radio. Welcome back. Andy Hoosier, the voice of reason. So we're talking about this murderer in South Carolina. So again, let me read this again from the attorney. Michael chose the firing squad instead of being burned and mutilated in the electric chair or suffering a lingering death on the lethal injection gurney. One of Mahdi's crimes that he was convicted of, ladies and gentlemen, July 18, 2004, was the murder of James Myers, who he shot to death and then set on fire. So, faced with the barbaric, inhumane choices, Andy, of being burned and mutilated in the electric chair or suffering a lingering death on the lethal injection gurney, he chose to be shot. He did two of those three things to his victim. Does the attorney not even see the irony in his own statement?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a hard one. I mean, yeah, it's really why he would choose something like that over what he said. I mean, the electric chair, which, I mean, to be honest, that gives me paranoia and anxiety just thinking about that too. I mean, just to be fried like that is absolutely insane. The injection, though, I don't know of anybody that's had like a bad injection where it doesn't do the deal that it's supposed to. So if you have the choice, why would you not choose to go to sleep and just pass on to the other side that way, as opposed to, like you said, the firing squad? Now, I mean, the firing squad, if you get hit in the head, you're probably done quickly. If you're hit in the heart, you're probably going to have a little bit slower death. I mean, it's just interesting to me why that would still be the choice for someone when they have the option to do so.
Yeah, there have been cases, and don't ask me which one they were. I recall reading about them, where witnesses had said, you know, the guy's body heaved after the injection began and it took 20 minutes to die. Here's my deal. So he was out anyway. He was already knocked out. I don't care what he goes through. So how do you think James Myers felt, who was shot and then burned and set on fire? How about his victim?
Yeah, at the end of the day, for us, I don't know that it necessarily really matters how they pass. Like you mentioned, kind of the eye for an eye mentality is, you know, do we essentially do almost the same type of punishment as what they gave their victims? And is that the best way to go about it? At the end of the day, they're done. We end their life, and that's a hefty toll in itself. So at the end of the day, I don't really care, I guess, if they are going to go through the death penalty, how they necessarily go through with it, as long as it's done at the end of the day. As I mentioned, I mean, I've kind of changed my position on, you know, where I stand with that issue in general anyways. But if have a choice or not, it's kind of,
No, I'm not disagreeing with anything you said. You know, I can appreciate some people, death penalty is, okay.
Well, and let me explain. I mean, the only reason why I say that is because, I mean, I'm right there with you. Obviously, if they barge into my house and I have a firearm to defend myself, I have no problem, you know,
giving them the death penalty
disappear, because I'm gonna exactly that is the death penalty at the end of the day. The way I've changed my position on the death penalty from the government essentially is, number one, are we absolutely 100% certain that that is the person that's done it, or have we had cases where we've made a mistake? Oops, we kind of off the wrong guy at the end of the day because there's new evidence that came up, which is not necessarily the case any longer. It was back in the 50s, 60s, before we had DNA, before we had the fingerprint deal, before we had some of that. We made some of those mistakes. At the same time, to go through the process to be confirmed all the way to that level for the death penalty now is almost more to the taxpayer to go through those court hearings to make that happen than it is just to have them sit on life in prison.
So what? It's worth
while
it.
we want justice. Well,
It's
yeah,
worth
and
it.
that's the
I'll
other
stand
thing. It is
outside the
worth it at
prison
the
with
end
my
of the day.
wallet open, brother. Okay, look, but
Yeah.
you mentioned something else. You say at the end of the day, right? Let's look at it this way. An eye for an eye can be looked at two ways. The death penalty itself, regardless of its method, is an eye for an eye. Here you got a guy
Yes.
that was shot and burned to death. His murderer could lay down, be strapped to a gurney, speak his last words, say what he wants to say, no matter how vile it is, and then fall asleep and wake up wherever he wakes up dead.
Right.
All right? James, he had a choice. James Myers didn't have a choice. James Myers died at this barbaric animal's hands, the way the killer chose to kill him. All right? Now, let's go back and use that example of death penalty in your house. If it's okay for you to shoot somebody to kill them because they're going to harm you, or you think they're going to harm you, or it appears to be inevitable that somebody in your household or family or you is going to be harmed and your life is in danger, great bodily harm or death, it's imminent, that's state-sanctioned death penalty. It's just you pulling the trigger immediately as judge, jury, and executioner legally instead of
and
them
there's no
going through the
question
process.
on what's going on. There's no question of what's going on at that time. You're absolutely right.
So this guy gets in your house, murders one of your family members before you off him. Okay? Let's say you don't murder him. Let's say he's wounded. He lives. You know it was him that killed somebody in your family, and this guy's got 20 years of appeals? Oh, no, no, no. See, I'm a proponent, and I'll go here. Bring back public execution. You want to make the death penalty a deterrent? Put him in the town square. Let the whole city come and watch. And do it quickly. Now, do you want to make sure you have the right person? Of course you want to make sure you have the right person. You still have an appellate process. But when you got somebody dead to rights and you know that's who did it,
Right.
end it. And let the whole world see it. You will see a reduction in a lot of that barbaric crime. Now, here's the flip side of that. There are people who don't care. This is proof that evil exists. They don't care. They don't care they're going to be put to death. They're going to do what they do anyway because evil is real. It's out there. We'll never stop evil acts from occurring. The best we can do is the best we can do. And if that means, look, I've been to Tombstone, Arizona. I've seen the gallows, okay? I'm not saying string somebody up for stealing horses. I'm not saying string somebody up for murder right there on the tree. I'm saying give them due process, then string them up. That's where the deterrent effect comes in. But, oh, wait, here's the flip side. Does it really? Because, well,
and those evil people, I mean, you're
out
absolutely right. I mean, there is evil people that are out there that just don't care. They are the anarchists that want to watch the world burn, and they need to be ended. And that's whether you end them when they bust into your house trying to steal something or harm you in the middle of the night, or whether they don't care and they want that public execution so that way everybody can see their face on the way out. There are those truly pure evil people, and we have no sympathy for them whatsoever. And personally, I mean, from a more, I guess, religious or a spiritual standpoint, then you're right. I mean, are they, is there a demonic possession? Is there something that's creating that evilness, in which case they need to be ended so that way it cannot spread or harm other individuals moving forward? That's the question that you really have to have. And we need to get back to that mindset of there will be harsh punishments for people that do bad things, which is why, I mean, look at this. Prime example, immigration's down because Donald Trump's not going to put up with it. He's going to turn you right around, put you on a plane, and fly you back elsewhere. And look at that. Immigration flow is down like 98% at the southern border. So it does work, and we have to get back to that mindset.
Yeah, well, we're getting ready to take a break now. When we come back, I want to carry this conversation on because there is a lot going on here. There really, truly is. You can ask a lot of questions and just keep going down a bunch of rabbit holes. But I'll use your phrase there. At the end of the day, the guy's dead. Should it have taken 21 years? I would bet you James Myers' family would say no.
20?
It probably should have taken less than a year. According to James Myers' family, I would be willing to bet that. But we'll talk about how bleeding hearts might think
10?
about this when we come back from the break. Don't go away. One more segment with Andy.
This segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Daniel Defense. Visit DanielDefense.com. Now, back to the show.
Yeah, back to the show indeed. We're wrapping up your Monday, beginning of your work week day for you here on Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. It's 48 minutes after the hour. We have one more segment left with Andy Hoosier, the voice of reason, here in the 6 Hour Studios. Please go out of your way to visit our partners. They make it all possible every single day, ladies and gentlemen. MyPillow.com has great sales going on over there. Support Mike. He's had a tough couple years. Support him for supporting this program. He's never wavered. Not one time has he wavered on his support for your right to keep and bear arms, particularly as this show is concerned. Support the man. You need some pillows, you need some cool stuff, it's all over there for you. They've got just about everything in the world at MyPillow.com. Use the AAR promo code, get all those great deals, and that says, hey guys, thank you for supporting my gun rights. It lets them know that you're supporting them for supporting you and everything we discuss on this program every single day. Don't forget HeavensHarvest.com, the Llewellyn family, great products over there. And guys, you know, have the political winds changed in this country? Donald Trump is in office. You don't feel that anything bad is going to happen? I'm not predicting anything bad happening. I will tell you that the Democrats are getting violent, and they're going to get violenter as the summer progresses because they got nothing else. All right? It's not over. Have yourself some emergency supplies. Civil unrest, weather, whatever it may be. We've had a series of wicked storms come through. Here as late as just this afternoon, by the way. Power flickered a number of times. I have enough food to know that I'm comfortable. And if something were to happen to me, my family can eat for about 2 years, okay? So just be prepared. Heaven's Harvest has everything you need over there. It's inexpensive to get started, HeavensHarvest.com. And check out, again, all of our partners. Need some great pain stuff and all that, PatriotsRelief.com. They have all those wonderful products over there. Use the promo code AAR and support the businesses that support you. Andy Hoosier, the voice of reason. Let's go back to this. You know, I closed out with, let's analyze this maybe from the way a bleeding heart liberal might think. You've probably seen, Andy, interviews, right? Well, what if it was your family member? Would you feel the same way, that the death penalty shouldn't exist? And you hear these goobers go, yeah, I just don't believe in the death penalty, said the guy who didn't lose a family member, okay? Now, I flip that. I'd like to, I wouldn't want to see my wife at a protest, you know, trying to keep a scumbag like this alive, who shot and burned somebody in a vicious murder. Not his only crime, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. That's just the one that got him the death penalty, mind you. Other felonies as long as your leg, okay, stacked up over the years. This guy was a scumbag and a loser. He deserved everything he got. I hope it hurt. But I'd be upset if I saw my wife on TV saying that my brutal murder shouldn't be responded to in kind. Okay, you know what I mean? I want to know my spouse wants to see some retribution here. I don't. That's just me. Yeah. All right? That's just me. Is my life not worth? Come on. So I don't know. It's easy for these bleeding, and I don't wish any ill will on anybody. Okay? But it goes back in a simpler matter. It goes back to, well, I wouldn't carry a gun. Guns are dangerous, blah, blah, blah. Until the day you need one and then you don't have one. I can't count how many people I've spoken to over the years. Lost count. I've written about them in books. I just cannot even count how many people have changed their minds when all of a sudden it happened to them, right? Oh, now all of a sudden they want to carry a gun and they didn't have one. Are you willing to use it now? You better believe it, as my dad would say when I was a kid. You bet your bippy. Okay? So there's that aspect of it too, Andy. And how about this? You know, you go into methods of execution. I don't care. I mean, bring back a guillotine, right? Or guillotine. Look, think about it. What difference does it make if you put a .308 round through somebody's heart, cracks open their chest, gets into their heart, blows out their life? Or cut their head off, make it simple. Maybe they blink a couple times and go, I probably shouldn't have done what I did. Lights out. I have no sympathy for these people. None. Yeah. None. Period. None. Zero. So what does that make me? I don't know. Makes me a good Christian as far as I'm concerned. I think those words were in the Bible.
Well, look, I mean, there's been, well, yeah, I mean, look, there are ways to do it to where, again, there's humanity that's involved to where, yeah, we're going to punish the bad guys for doing bad things. There are also ways of just, torturing and tormenting, which I guess I'm not necessarily fond of. And you can go back to like medieval times where I used to do some really wild stuff. I mean, the old Vikings, if you remember hearing about the blood eagle, where they would crack the back of their ribs open and expose their lungs and put them on top of their shoulders and let them die off that way. And if they didn't scream, and the theory was that Odin would take them up to Valhalla or to heaven throughout the entire process. That's a little brutal, that kind of stuff. I think is, definitely old. So that's why I'm surprised that we even do the electric chair any longer. I'm surprised that we even have firing squads, to be honest, any longer, just because of where we're at in culture and in society. I honestly thought that the injection was the only way of actually doing executions nowadays. So that's kind of news to me in the first place that we're even doing some of this.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. I guess we can take it full circle to should the guy even have a choice? Now, Di Primo in the chat, Brad's mom from the roundtable says, no, they shouldn't be given a choice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said,
you're going to die. You got
You're
the
gonna
death
die either
penalty.
way,
Your
so-
date is April 10th, man. What difference does it make how you
Yeah.
go? Should you be given a choice on that?
Right.
The
I
victim was not
personally
given
had
a
no
choice.
problem giving them a choice. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, they're going to be dead at the end of the day. So I don't really care if they have a choice or not. It's just which way do they choose? I'm just still baffled. I'm still mind blown that was the choice that they would have instead of the cushiest one possible. I don't know. That's still, if I were in that position, I would not choose having a gun pointed in my face or, being strapped up and being, having thousands of, jolts of energy being shot through my body. That blows my mind why you would choose that in the first place.
Well, go back
if
to
you
that
did have a
Susan-
choice.
Go back to that Susan Smith monster in South Carolina that drowned her kids in the car years ago because she was having an affair and her boyfriend didn't want kids. So she straps her beautiful little toddlers in the car and drives them into a lake. Do you have any sympathy for this
Pure
woman?
evil.
It is
Pure
that is
evil.
pure evil. Well, they say drowning. You can go out and look this up, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, Exodus is the eye for an eye in the Old Testament. If you want to look that up. There's reports out there that drowning, it can be considered a pleasurable way to die if there's any such thing as a pleasurable way to die. All right.
Well,
I
see,
don't
the
mean that
most
for the
pleasurable,
kids.
I would
I'm
choose-
saying give her the pleasurable and drown her. That's what I'm saying.
Well, why do you think I like the cold so much? If I am going to pass away, my ideal choice, if I had a choice, would be hypothermia, because
don't
once
tell
you
me
get
that.
cold
You'd
enough, then you
rather
feel,
freeze to
then
death.
you just feel like you're warm, and you start stripping
30.
clothes, running down the street anyways, thinking that you're warm when your body's just like shutting down because it's so cold. So like from what I've heard, that is the most
no.
enjoyable way to pass if you had to choose.
Greg,
So
I guess
stick
he
me up in
didn't.
Antarctica.
Greg, I guess he didn't watch the last episode of 1923.
No,
I'm
we
not
did
gonna,
not.
Did you watch it?
I haven't yet.
Okay, I'm not going to give anything away. I'm just going to say that a couple people freeze to death in it, and it did not look enjoyable, Andy. I'm just saying.
By the
Andy,
way, just to let you know, as we were on break, I actually did just sign up for ammosquare.com.
oh, that's a beautiful thing. Thank you for that. That's wonderful. Hey, tell people where they can watch you, and coming up, you got about 15, 20 seconds. Go for it. 'cause
Yeah,
your show's
you
coming
betcha.
right up.
HoosierReason.com. Yeah, HoosierReason.com. We have the podcast link on there, all the link to all the podcast sites. We have the video stream, audio stream, and it's always fun to do it on a Monday, Mark.
Yeah, bring back the guillotine, put it in the town square, baby. Right there next to the gazebo in front of
you
the
go.
courthouse. I'm all game. No complaints from this guy.
30.
I'll buy tickets.
Good stuff.
I'll sell tickets. Do that way too. It doesn't matter to me.
Get a
Armed
commission on
American
that one.
Radio is going to get up and do it again tomorrow because they don't like us having these conversations. Until we meet on the radio tomorrow, guys, stay safe. Enjoy your day. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow.
You've just filled your prescription for freedom with Mark Walters, presented by X Insurance. X Insurance on the Armed American Radio Network.
All right, guys, interesting chat today. Interesting conversation for sure. I had no idea it was going to go for that long on that particular topic. I got a whole list of stuff here that I never did get to, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it this week, I promise. There's a lot going on. Yeah, probably 6 or 7 topics that I didn't get to. This one lasted a little bit longer than I thought it would, but it's a fun conversation. And I meant every word I said, by the way. You want to make the death penalty a deterrent? Quit letting these people string out for 20 plus years. Get it over with. When you know they're guilty, end it, period. All right, guys, enjoy your day. Stay safe. We'll see each and every one of you on the radio on Tuesday as our week marches on. See you on the radio, guys. Stay safe out there.